Hello, my name is Mr. Emmanuel Makuni, or Baman. I've been teaching ordinary level and advanced level literature and English from 1994 to date. Today, I will be taking you through your basis in terms of advanced level literature and English, paper 1. Now, paper 1 involves comment and appreciation. Comment and appreciation. Previously, it was called practical criticism. Or critical appreciation. The shift from the term critical appreciation or practical criticism to comment and appreciation was necessitated by the perception by some students that when you say criticize, you only focus on the negatives. But in this paper, it's not like you are focusing on the negatives of a particular passage per se. Now, comment and appreciation, paper 1, focuses on passages, be they poems, extracts from drama, or passages from prose from across historical epochs and cultures. Now, in comment and appreciation, we focus on the basic appreciation of how the relationship between language and meaning is established in pieces of writing. Now, this paper is based on ordinary level, paper 2, where that relationship between reading, understanding, and communication is established. So basically, comment and appreciation builds on that, builds on paper 2 of ordinary level. Now, when it comes to A-level critical appreciation, or comment and appreciation, like I've said, we read through passages and try to establish the link between the language and the meaning. It's debatable, really, what we think is more important in terms of whether it is the meaning or whether it is the language or the style that really takes precedence. But to me, it is the meaning. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Now, let us start with what examiners would expect of you as a candidate of comment and appreciation. Number 1, do you demonstrate sound understanding of the passage? When we talk about understanding the passage, we are saying, what are the objectives? What is the intention of the writer? What is the objective of the writer? What does the writer or poet or dramatist seek to achieve in writing the piece? Now, this will definitely influence the choice of structure, the choice of form, the choice of language. And under language, you go as far as the diction, you go as far as even if it is a poem, rhyme scheme, the verses and so on. That basically boils down to what the writer seeks to achieve in writing the piece. Now, so basically the first thing is the meaning. do you demonstrate sound understanding of the meaning of a passage? Number 2, have you established the relationship between the language and the meaning? Under language, you are basically talking about the style. Like I've said before, necessity is the mother of invention. You are likely as a writer to mold a piece of writing around what effect you want to achieve or what impact you want to achieve. So when you are criticizing or when you are commenting and appreciating a piece of writing, you are likely to bring out that relationship between the language and the meaning. In other words, we are saying, this is what the writer seeks to achieve. This is the objective. This is what I feel the writer was prompted to write by. In other words, we are saying the writer wants to achieve a certain effect. Let us say the writer is writing about death. We have read a poem by John Donne, Death Be Not Proud. In that poem, the poet derides death, laughs at death. The universal perception of death is that death is a fearful experience. Death is universally perceived as fearsome. But here is a poet who inventively looks at death and mocks, laughs at, or derides, or ridicules death. In other words, the way writers may be the same subject, but writers differ in terms of how they perceive the same subject. One looks at death as a leveler and says death equates humanity, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're powerful politically or economically or whatever, or how this is how one writer would perceive death. But here is John Donne, who looks at death as and laughs at it and says, people have looked at you in terms of death and have seen death as a fearful experience. But I choose to look at death only as transitory, and it is a phase that leads to eternity, and that is based on the Christian belief that there is life after death. So that relationship, back to what I've said before, that relationship between the language and meaning is an important aspect. Then we go from there. The third aspect is the authenticity of your piece of writing. When you write a piece based on a passage, how authentic are you? How authoritative are you? I often say to my students, let us say, I am the one writing this piece. This is how I see it. In other words, it is based on personal response. The emphasis is on personal response. So in other words, we are saying this is a candidate who shows ownership. Not only that, for you to pass with an A grade, you have to show a semblance of belonging to the subject, like the use of technical language. Technical language. Now, when it comes to technical language, we are saying you use the necessary technical tools where they apply. And that comes naturally. You should familiarize yourself with the necessary technical tools. And when you look through a passage, do you see any outstanding or distinctive features of style? Particularly the technical aspect, like irony or paradox in poetry, rhyme, and even the title in a piece of prose You also look at his character. All these come together for a specific purpose. So for you to be authoritative, you have to demonstrate a sound understanding of the technical aspect. But not only that, and try to link it with the meaning. How is the writer used a particular stylistic feature, and to what effect? What does the writer seek to achieve in using the particular feature or style? So this, to me, is what brings to mind the aspect of authenticity. You can only show how genuine you are, how authoritative you are, if you can apply the necessary technical skills. Then from there, do not just go through a passage or a poem and do a line-by-line analysis. Be mindful of the bigger picture. Be mindful of the bigger picture. All these stylistic features are part of like a jigsaw puzzle. Everything should come together and they should constitute the bigger picture. In other words, they should link with the effect that the writer in question wants to achieve. Then from there, how well thought out is your piece? I often say to my students, you should bring pencil to the examination. Underline keywords. When you read, number one, read through the entire paper. Read through the entire paper and decide which questions you want to answer. We don't want you regretting after the examination and saying, if only I had known, I would have answered this question. So after reading through the entire paper, you choose the ones that you want to answer. And when you choose, you go through the passage or the poem at least twice to establish a sound understanding of what the passage is about. So when you go through it at least twice, it helps you to have a feel of what the writer wants to achieve. Then when you do that, we often say cleanliness is a sure sign of a sick mind. If your question paper is neat, surely your answer, the final script that you're going to produce, may be faulty. What you need to do is, you need to disable everything and then reorganize it when it comes to the writing, so that your writing is coherent. Your writing should be coherent, it should be smooth, it should be fluent, it should be fluid. So when you do that, you are likely to bring out a very successful piece of writing. So basically, for today, we are saying this is what we need to think about in critical appreciation or comment and appreciation. And the beauty of it is this paper, once mastered, will help to unlock the other papers, such as paper 2, or such as paper 3, paper 4, or paper 5. So for now, I would like to say I've enjoyed trying to make a difference in young people's minds in terms of comment and appreciation. And for me and my cameraman here, Mr. Nyachowe, is Asante Sana.